Good morning and assalamualaikum to all viewers. Thank you for joining me again today for episode 7. I'm hoping that everybody is keeping safe and well. I would first like to express my gratitude just from the last couple of weeks of launching eTable Talk with Sarah. I received countless of amazing supports and chats for this initiative. Welcome to all new connections as well. Incredibly fortunate to have you on board. So if you haven't, do subscribe to eTable Talk on YouTube for more videos, a series of corporate talks where we aim to lower down the burnt out rates at our workplace. Yeah. So Nizie is here with me today. To take us on the journey of her self-discovery to inspire the women of the world, especially the millennial mums, on how she manages her multi-potentiality and mental health as a mother, community contributor, and entrepreneur. Yeah? So by profession, she is a chartered marketer and was a former chartered marketer, business planner, and a corporate communicator, who started from the ground up in her career from a small, medium-sized multinational firms, public listed companies, to journey her corporate career in the only Malaysian corporation listed in the Fortune Global 500 companies, and believes in soaking her hands and learning the ropes from the bottom will help her character building. She was also a youth committee member for the World Guest Conference in 2012 in Kuala Lumpur. Now, after leaving the corporate world, she re-embraces motherhood and continues her journey traveling around the world, which she put aside since she was a child. Her medical parents were moving from one country to another and brought her and her little brothers. So she now journeys a multi-generational travel to places with her own family. Her itchy feet somehow explored her to new space as a freelance travel writer, and wrote 27 articles now, including 2 travel guides for an American travel company. With the experience gained, she evolved and stepped into her potential. She wanted to do something for herself and created her own brand. Coupled with her mission to navigate her inner zest and transform it into extraordinary experiences. She made new, refreshing connections, and along the way, she inspired women around the world as a contributing member to a storytelling movement called For Women Who Roar. Her written interview, The Story is a Legacy, can be found on their website. Yeah. So now she is a full-time mother, strategic storyteller, writer, and brand narrative coach. Her clients termed her as a brand narrative maestro, as she has helped them to nail their strategic narrative and express their soul existence to their life and business using self-storytelling, which her clients initially didn't know such a thing exists. So welcome, Nizie, to eTable Talk with Sarah. How's it going for you there?
Thank you, Sarah, for the wonderful introduction. I'm great, thanks. It's a beautiful day and a beautiful experience. So we are both here today.
Yes, yeah. Thanks, Nizie, for joining me today. My first question to you would be, how did you arrive at your multi-potentiality?
Okay, yeah. Everything started as a journey. I mean, I realized that everything we do, I mean, for me, everything I do, I'm inclined to those patterns about journeying, driving the car. I seem to enjoy driving, be in the car, in the train, going places, and it's everything else. So I like those kind of things. So I realized that this journey is such a beautiful thing, you know, especially those who are brave. I mean, it comes with breakdowns. So those who are brave will, you know, go through this breakthrough, and it's those breakdowns that leads to transformation. So I believe that, in fact, I myself went through a transformation. So I just would like to share my story here. You see, now I am a narrative coach, a brand narrative coach, where I help multi-passionate leaders and entrepreneurs who want to nail their strategic narrative and shift their stories of themselves and others so that they find a space to create new results and new possibilities. So from there on, I wasn't like that before. I mean, I didn't find that that perspective yet, because before I was a very ambitious corporate executive who was so immersed in looking into to live every day, you know, pay bills and things like that. But after a while, I realized that I forgot to make this life worth living. So I was until something happened. My family. I almost lost my family actually, you know, because of my work. I'm so immersed. It's a world that I created for myself because I want to do good. I want to do well. I want to make things happen for me. So then while I was doing that, I realized that I was off balance. I eat on the go. I don't have enough rest. And when it's time to switch off, I can't switch off, especially when there's outstanding projects in my plate. So I just couldn't do it. So this was actually a real call when I realized that I had to choose between my family or my career. So the obvious one was choosing my family. Because, you know, as we go along in life, I realized that, you know, yes, working is something very important to us, to human beings, but it's just a small part of our contribution to the world. But there's other little things that defines us, that we need to be a wholesome. So yeah, so and eventually I decided to leave, and that's when I realized I had the chance to explore my multi-potentiality. Multi-potentiality here means having one or more disciplines that you're good at. It is not like one calling. Like for example, I was a corporate communicator, so that was one role that I played at work. But I was not functioning on the other aspect of my life. So as I went into the re-embracing motherhood, that's when I realized that I can do other things too. You see, I'm a mom, you know, I help with my children, if there's anything they need with school, and then I'm also a wife, and I do chores, and you know, those things that as mothers, we all go through. So one led to another, you know, after being re-embracing motherhood, I started by chance going to something unknown. And it was from those unknown, I didn't realize then that when I stepped out from corporate work, that was just the beginning of going through the unknown. I mean, stepping into the unknown. Then after that, I started going to freelance travel writing. And after that, I became a strategic storyteller. And now I'm a narrative coach. And I have a little space where I built a community for the storytellers, for women around the world. It's called #LetYourNarratives_Travel. And it's from there also I came out with my own quotes, some inspiration. You know, sometimes we go through so many things in life, and you need some outlet where you can express. So I come up with my own quotes, and in a little column in Instagram called Nizie Express. So that is how I decided to not ignore my multi-potentiality. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
I can totally relate to what you are telling us, our viewers today, especially being a woman, especially being a mother. There's so many things that one can face. You know, you talk about post MCO, and being a woman, you worry a lot, especially if you work from home. You know, you've got to handle a lot of things. Now, you mentioned earlier that human beings, yeah, we all go through struggles, yeah, and breakdowns. How do you actually manage your breakdowns during the difficult times?
Okay, yeah. Just to add on of what I said earlier, where I stepped into the unknown, that's when I reimagined my reality. I had a moment to myself and said, okay, now that I left the corporate world, what's next? So that was the point when I said, okay, I need to know what I want to do. So I started reimagining my reality, living my dreams, thinking about my dreams. Okay, what's next? So it's through those that moment of reimagining reality that those breakdowns came in, and it somehow fits well. I mean, in the sense that, you know how breakdowns leads to breakthrough, and how you want to achieve your dream, how do you do that? So those are the things that came into my mind. So what I did was I started to have a discipline of my heart. That this is actually a term that my brother actually taught me about it. It's actually, discipline of your heart is about doing small habits every day that leads to something. So I started trying to, I tried to create a space for myself. Okay, how do I do this? And the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown was really a best time to actually practice and see whether this really works. So I came to this 5 B's. It's called Revitalizing Your Heart with the 5 B's. 5 B's here means, one is the backscattering. That means you reflect back on your life and see how can you make things better, and also think about your relationship with the Creator. Get yourself immersed to this beautiful world that we have now. And then the next one is bonding. Bonding here, you know, during COVID-19, bonding was very challenging for me. You know, being stuck at home with my husband and 2 kids who were so energetic, moving here and there. On top of that, I have house chores to do, and as well as clients to do Zoom calls too. So it was quite difficult, but somehow I managed to, you know, find that space. So what I did is that I give that discipline to my children. Okay, this time is my moment. So there's time for me to play with you, there's time to read, and there's things to do. So it helped, you know. Of course, being a mom, trying to discipline kids is not easy, but you know, as you know, every day it goes along, it should be okay. So next is balancing your being. Balancing your being here is your relationship with the food, the things that you eat, because what we eat really affects our mood. And then also exercise. We really need to exercise. Although during the lockdown that we couldn't go out here and there, but we find ways. How can I do this? How can I feel great about myself other than sweating? You know, because that adrenaline rush it helps us to feel good. So what I did exercise. I ran around the house 5 kilometers, and then I sometimes help with my children too. So we dance, we do things together. So those are the things that help me with all our mental health. So you can imagine if we adults, moms, parents have trouble or struggling to manage our mental health, can you imagine the kids? So what we did is we bought a trampoline for our kids, because, you know, after a while we will do, the first one was great, where we did things like, you know, cooking together and playing together, but after a while we just ran out of things to do, because, you know, it was quite challenging to embrace this new norm. So we got them a trampoline, and then they were playing, they were fun, but it just didn't help much after that, you know, because after that it becomes a mundane routine. It's a banality or routine that we human beings go through every day. So it's actually, how do you do that? So the next thing I discovered is about balancing your being. That means taking rest. Take care of yourself. Really, we need to take care of ourselves. I mean, yes, we work really hard every day. We do all kinds of roles. I think most of us have that multi-potentiality role, but, you know, I guess people don't really emphasize on it. It's like, oh, we have to manage it somehow. But, you know, we really need to take care of ourselves, in the sense you must rest. Rest here, you can also play with pets, or if you have a pet, you know, do things that can make you calm. or balance the equilibrium or the things that you do in things that you do rushing, and versus something you do, relax, slow, and things like that. So the next one is breathing space. Breathing space is recreation. Although we can't travel outside during the COVID-19 and during difficult times, but you can find some hobbies. Do painting or do something, writing or coloring or anything that makes you alive again. Because we need those things, rather than doing the routine things. There's some things that we need to do that's spontaneous. And then the last one of the 5 B's is becoming. Always think about the future. Yes, it's important to think about the moments or what we've done in the past, but you also need to know what's going to happen next. I mean, what are the efforts and things that you can do to make ourselves better in this life that we live? So yeah, that's how I came on to the revitalizing your heart.
Thanks, thanks, Nizie, for sharing the secret 5 Bs that you came out with. Now, using that, the 5 Bs you mentioned, how did that help generate new ideas for yourself?
Okay, you see, once we complete these 5 Bs, all the 5 Bs that I mentioned before, that's when we can create the space. You see, once you've done all the necessary, you can do the possible. And once you do the possible, you'll do the impossible. So this is actually a quote that one of my clients told me about after going through a transformation with me. And she realized that this is something that she wanted to share with me. And I feel it resonates so much with me because it's true. These 5 Bs that we have, we need to do it. We have to do it before we can create space for ourselves. How are we going to find that space to do things what we're good at? Look at what we are doing. So that's how I came up with nailing your strategic narrative. A strategic narrative is actually a special kind of story. It talks about where you have been, where you are now, and where you want to go. So it's actually talking, it's a story about you, about the voices in you. You are talking to yourself. So before you can go out to the world and talk to others about your problems or your solutions or anything like that, we need to know what is it that's inside of us. So those are the inclination patterns that I came up with. So I found that element in me. So there's 3 things also that we need to know in nailing the strategic narrative. We need to find the elements. Why are we doing what we're doing? What makes us alive in the things that we do? And next is the envisioning. What do you envision yourself to be in the next, I don't know, your lifetime, maybe 20 years, 40 years, 60 years, depending. And also ethics that you don't compromise, which is your values. You see, when I was a business planner, I did a lot of facilitation on vision, mission, and values. But I didn't really realize that we need a personal vision and values, and why are we doing things that we do every day. So that's how it came to that nailing the strategic narrative. And as you know, lots of companies now, they talk about, yes, user experience, customer experience, but not many people have that human experience. Those things, that shared purpose where we can work together in making this life worth living, this beautiful world. So yes, that's how it started with the strategic narrative.
Right.
So to add a little bit more, so once you have created that space, how do you do that? Okay. So what I did was I asked some questions. I bounced off with myself about the questions that can help me create that space for me. So I started talking about what is happening now, what is my problem now, or what is my strength now, what are solutions that I have, and how do I express it to others. And then the next question is, what is it I want to let go? Okay, so if I have some weaknesses that I want to take it out, to let it go, what are the things? How are you going to do that? And the next one is, what do you want to keep? That means it's your strengths. So for example, if a mom is at home, and you know, during the lockdown or during difficult times, you have financial difficulties. If you're good at cooking, why don't you explore that? How if that's what's good for you. Do things that serve you, the energy that serves you. If you're not good at writing or speaking, focus on the things that you're good at. If cooking makes you alive, makes you sleep at night, do those things. Find ways to make it into a business or something for you, for your family that makes you happy. You do what you love. So that's an example of it. And how do you create a difference in the same place that we live in? Because of course we have competition, but what makes us unique is actually our thoughts, talents, and our own experience. How do you project that into the world? So yes, that's how it is. So, and also you need to test it. You know, sometimes when in the process of creating things, you can be talking to yourself, but you don't share it with the community or your friends or family. You don't know how well it goes. So yeah, these are the questions that can help you create that space. Yeah.
I see. I see. Nizie, if you can delve deeper and share with our audience on, you know, what was the motivation to do what you are doing now, and how did you manage to inspire others?
Okay, it all started with my kids. You know, as you know, I spend a lot of time with my kids. So they started asking me questions about storytelling. And every night we would tell stories. And wow, my daughter loves to ask me this question: Mama, can you tell me how we were when you were a kid? I mean, how was my great grandparents like? I mean, you talk about, you know, during school holidays, you go back to kampong, spend time with your cousin, and you know, see nature and things like that. And then they would tell you stories. So how was it like? I really wish I could meet my great grandparents one day. So when I heard that, it made me feel like I want her to be part of it. So how do I connect with the stories that I tell and her? So it's actually through storytelling. So one of the exercise that I did a publication for Women Who Raw. I talked about the letter to my younger self. And it's a story about me as an 8-year-old. It's a real story of me because, you know, as you mentioned before, that my parents were traveling a lot overseas. And that time we were at Mountain View, California. So I was doing assignment for the class. And I was talking about my dream is to be a storyteller. So at that time, storytelling is just meant for kids in school where, you know, they want to talk about what's happening, you know, but never did I realize that storytelling can actually is how you see it. Because in business, to incorporate, we can do that through strategic narratives. You have the main idea of what we want to talk, but how do you connect with the audience? This is where the human experience comes in. So that's how I teach my clients and my followers or whoever that is interested to know about how are we going to tap that connection that we would have with our communities. So yes, there. Yep.
I think storytelling is such a powerful tool to relate your message out to the world. Kids love it. We adults love our stories told. Okay. Now, Nizie, last but not least, what is your message to the corporate women out there who are still fighting their way through, who are still climbing the corporate ladder, doing what they need to do, and to the millennial mothers?
Yeah. So I think here, my deep advice is about just not just for women, but for everyone. You see, you need to stretch the unlimited love for whatever you do. In this limited lifetime we have in this world, our life is short, and we have people that we care about, our children. I mean, those for millennial moms who have children, you know, they are prone to, you know, I mean, as a mom, we will tell our children, okay, this is not right, this is wrong, we should do this, we should that. But the most powerful thing is they are observing us. So if you are not living your life how you want to be, don't expect your child to do the same, because they're going to say that you're not doing it, why should I? I mean, you see, we are a leader ourselves. We are a leader as mothers, parents. So if you need to, we need to be, you need to be a good role model. It's like, you know, lead by example. So yes, that's what I would have to say to the mothers out there. Don't worry, trust the process. Things are not as rosy as it seems, but it will get there. Just believe in yourself, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. So it's not, Nizie, today is a beautiful insight, especially to, you know, what we're mentioning a couple of times now, millennial mothers, corporate women. We've gone through that stage, and we know it's not easy. Messages like this out to our viewers would be powerful. Take a breather, know where you stand, know where you want to head to, and focus on that. Yeah, stretching the love.
Yes.
That's a beautiful message as well. Stretching the love while we can. I know it's a tough periods for a lot of us right now, but we need to remember that at the back of the head that life is short.
Yes,
And
that's right.
things can
And we
happen.
should and we should maximize whatever we can while we are living and breathing. You know, we don't know when we're gonna leave the world, and we have our offsprings. You know, they're watching us and they're looking up to us. So if we don't do the things that we are supposed to, and we expect them to be happy. I mean, for example, let's say somebody's not happy, you know, they just do the work because of the responsibilities, and then they expect their children to do well in school, not just in the exams, everything, all rounder and everything. But you know, it's about how you connect with your child. I know there's a lot of corporate moms. I mean, I was there before. I didn't have time for my kids, so the only thing I had was storytelling time. I come back late, so sometimes on the weekend they'll wait for me. So they're just looking forward for the next story of my life. So how I think they are trying to figure out their identity. What is it that, you know, from one generation to another, how was it they can make up their own, you know? So yeah, I think that's a very good insight. Sometimes our children are the best teachers. They're always teaching us about life, which we don't really realize it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah, but well, busyness can be a killer, can be poison.
Yeah.
We must just force ourselves. You know, so we as mothers, we are immersed with so many things in life. You gotta
Yeah.
complete the house chores. You gotta complete that. You gotta work. Your bosses uh, calling you, and all those will bring one down. But if you strategically compartmentalize all this, you would be able to keep yourself sane.
Yeah. At the same time, you know, when you nail that strategic narrative, you also help with your time management. Those time that you doesn't serve you, the things that is a waste of time, you can actually take it out, delete it, take it, and do something with things that makes you alive or rewarding. You know, things that, you know, can make you feel feeling the unique you, because it's all is in ourselves. We
Yeah,
are our own healer. Yeah.
yeah, we are. And it's okay to be selfish once in a while for the best of everybody around you.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, Nizie, it's such a pleasure to have you today. Hopefully I'm actually looking forward to work with you for your programs, your workshops in this near future to help our youths, to help make the future workplace a better one. And this is the main reason why eTable Talk is in existence in the first place, to lower down the burnt out rates and to make sure our children goes through a better corporate life. You know, we need to let them know. Hopefully this video gets shared amongst the millennials that after college there's more.
Yes, that's right.
There's more,
Yeah.
and hopefully they won't get shocked to their lives, you know, once they step into the corporate world there.
True. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Nizie. Keep safe. So thank you for all viewers. Please keep safe, keep well. Till the next episode then. See you guys.
Bye.